What up, YouTube? Let's here back again. Tonight, I'm going to be doing a review on a couple of knives for you guys. The Spyderco Smock and the Varga Knives VBR. These two knives, I'm doing the review on these because this one actually was just restocked a bunch of different retailers. So this is actually available a few different places for purchase right now. And this guy I'm doing just because it's a really cool knife. I think a lot of more people should know about it. And you can actually go to Mark Varga's site right now and pre-order. I think it sounds like he's doing another production run. He does all of his knives through Riot. And he also does custom orders. I don't know if his books are open right now, but if they are, you could do an order from him if you're interested as well. So let's go ahead and get started here. Again, as I said, the first knife that we have is the Spyderco Smock. Now, there is a custom knife maker. For one reason or another, I've forgotten his first name just now, but so Smock Knives, he does custom knives, and Spyderco collaborated with him to make this guy. It's a really cool looking knife. I like it a lot. I waited for this knife to be re-released for probably about a year and a half because I saw it on a knife reviewer's channel quite a while ago, about a year and a half, and right after I saw the video, I think it was like a month or two old, and they had just sold out all the different retailers right when I saw it, so I wasn't able to get a hold of it for quite a while. So I'm glad I was able to finally get this guy. I got it about 5 months ago. It's still available right now at DLT Trading and Knife Center. Blade HQ had them for a while, but they are sold out currently. And I've also got a couple of different places you can get some custom scales for this guy if you are interested in that as well. So first things first, this is a steel frame flipper. It also has the little hole for opening, normally called the thumb hole or the Spidey hole, but this one's quite a bit smaller than your normal Spidey hole, so it's a little bit more difficult to actuate than the flipper is. And it looks like a button lock, but it's actually a compression lock. I don't know if you can see in here or not, but the compression lock there is actually mounted on the other side of the knife, and when you push this button in here, it activates the lock for you to release the blade. So that's a pretty cool little aspect right there you don't see on any other knives. This one has G10 scales with carbon fiber overlay, and they've got some texturing on it. It actually feels really, really nice. It's got some grippiness to it. It's not like your normal G10 laminate, carbon fiber laminate, which I'm not a huge fan of, but this does feel a lot better being textured and everything. So the flipper works really, really well on this guy. It doesn't have any jimping on it, but I don't necessarily know that it needs it. Like I said, it works pretty well. If you're not careful, your finger will slip off of it. So as long as you're paying attention to what you're doing, it's pretty reliable. So let's see here. Let's get some measurements. I don't currently have a scale or anything to measure the knives with. I don't have any calipers, but I'm working on that. You guys will just have to trust me for the measurements right now. And I mean, let's be honest, why wouldn't you trust me, right? It's just numbers. Who cares? So for some size comparisons, I've got the Rat 1 and the Rat 2. Compared to the Rat 1, it's just a little bit shorter. And compared to the Rat 2, it's obviously going to be a little bit longer. Now, when I do get a Para 3, I will be using Paramilitary 2 and the Para 3 for size comparisons as well. But I've mentioned it before, I've got extremely large hands, so I've never really been interested in the Para 3. I did see on a couple of reviews that for one reason or another, the Para 3 and the Gray G10 and Maximate Steel seems to feel a little bit better in the hands of people with bigger hands. So I have a Para 3 on order. It's the Maximate model with the Gray G10, but I'm having it heavily modded, so it's going to be a while before I receive that guy. But as soon as that gets here, we'll be using that for size comparisons as well. So the overall length for the Spyderco Smock is 7.95 inches. Closed length is 4.5 inches, and the blade itself is, I believe it's 3.45 inches. The looks like it's got a hollow grind, about 50% of the up the height of the blade, and it's very, very thin at the edge. It's pretty slicey. It's not exactly the thinnest edge in the world, but it works pretty well. You can cut through just about anything with this guy. I like it a lot. The Spidey hole, like I said, is very small. It's definitely at least half the size of the normal Spidey hole for this PM2 and most of the other Spydercos that I've ever seen. A little bit of jimping here on the spine of the blade, right where your thumb goes. Some people will call this a small forward finger choil. I'm not able to do that, so I call this a sharpening choil. But it still feels pretty good in the hand. You can get your finger all the way up to the front of the G10 here, and it feels pretty comfortable with where the grooves are and everything, and you can get your thumb here on the spine of the blade to give yourself a little bit more control. What else can I tell you? The liners are milled a little bit. They've got some speed holes here, which I'm not sure why those are there. I'm actually going to get some custom scales for this, or not custom scales, but aftermarket scales for this guy. Those aren't going to have the holes in it, but I'm sure it helps a little bit with weight reduction. And as I said before, the compression lock works really, really well on this guy. Flips out very easily, closes very easily. It fits really, really well in the pocket because it's a smaller knife. Well, probably not for most people. It's about a medium-sized knife for most people, I'm guessing. But for me, I'm going to go ahead and call it a small knife. Got the lanyard tube here, which, I could take it or leave it. I'm not a huge fan of lanyards, so couldn't care less one way or the other with those. The hardware on this guy, it's got a T8 for the pivot screw, and it's got T6s for the body screws, which kind of sucks. I hate P6 screws with the fire of 1,000 suns, to be honest. I don't think that they should be used in the knife community or on knives at all. They strip out, and especially if they use a whole bunch of Loctite on it, it's virtually impossible to get them out sometimes on certain knives. It's really, I really wish they would stop using them altogether. I think most of the people on YouTube that make content would agree with me on that. It's kind of the consensus that I've gotten, is just about everybody hates T6 screws. Now this guy here, you can mount the pocket clip left or right, tip up carry, but you can't mount it for tip down, which I don't think that bothers anybody in the knife community either. I don't know of a whole lot of people that carry their knives tip down anyway. I'm sure there's some people out there, but I've never heard of them. I don't think that there's anything else I can tell you about this guy. I think I went through just about everything. It's running on phosphor bronze washers, and when you take it apart, I can tell you it's kind of a strange knife to take apart. I don't know if you can see or not. This standoff right here. I'm sorry. This part right here, obviously where the compression lock is, that's got a little spring in it, and when you take this apart, it'll go flying. When you put it back together, it's kind of self-evident how to put it back together without losing that spring, but if you're not careful, like I said, it'll go flying across the room and you'll never find it again. It's one of the tiniest screws I've ever seen in my life. So if you ever do decide to get one of these and you decide to take it apart, be very, very careful when you're getting it apart, and obviously when you're putting it back together. Let's see here. I already showed you the stop pin. Bear with me here, guys. I've never done this before, so I'm kind of stumbling through it like my first bra, if you know what I'm saying. All right. I think I've gotten everything out of this guy that I'm going to for right now. The next one is, oh, I'm sorry. I was also going to tell you the rest of the stuff for this guy. So I already gave you the overall length. The blade stock thickness is 118 thousandths. The steel is S30V. It's got a satin finish on it. You can kind of see I think it kind of has like a belt satin finish on this part of the blade here. I already told you about the G10 and the carbon fiber, the compression lock. The weight on this one is 3.7 ounces. It is made in Taichung, Taiwan. And like I said, it's available at DLT Trading and Knife Center currently. It retails for $201.25 on both sites. If you want to customize it a little bit, they've got some aftermarket scales at Sharp Dress Knives. There are, I think, 5 different kinds. There's maroon linen, brown canvas micarta, and OD green canvas micarta. All 3 of those are $69. And they also have Arctic Storm and marble carbon fiber scales for this guy on Sharp Dress Knives. Those are $129 for those scales. So $69 for the micarta and $129 for the carbon fiber, if you choose to do that. Okay, now we can move on to the VBR. So the Varga Knives VBR. This is one of the most beautiful knives I've ever seen. Let's just do the size comparisons first, get that out of the way. Compared to the Rat 1, I'd say it's just a little bit shorter than that. And compared to the Rat 2, obviously it's going to be quite a bit larger than the Rat 2. This is a full-size knife. Fits very well in my hand. A lot of people might consider it to be a larger knife, but I think most people would consider it to be just a full-size knife. So, measurements for this guy. The overall length for this is 8 1/8 inches. The closed length, just for the handle, is 4.5. And the blade itself is 3.5 inches, and it has 3.6 inches, and it has a 3.2 inch cutting edge, thanks to that large finger choil there, which is very, very comfortable. The handle is titanium with G10 overlays. Currently I have on the white G10. I also have a set of blue G10 scales that come with this. Mark Varga is a very down-to-earth guy. If there's ever anything that you need from him, all you have to do is just send him a message on Instagram, and he'll get back to you pretty quickly. I actually, when I bought this knife, I bought it on the secondary market, and I got the guy actually sold it to me for cost, which is pretty crazy. He didn't make any money off of it whatsoever. But it had blue scales on it. And I wanted the white ones originally, so I sent a message to Mark Varga on Instagram, and he got back to me the same day, said he had a set of white scales laying around. He sold them to me for $35. And I had them in less than a week. So like I said, he's got to be one of the busiest guys on the planet. He works for the federal government, doing firearms training and stuff like that, I believe for the FBI. And he also does, his knife making stuff in his spare time. So I don't know how he has time to see his messages and respond to them and send some jackass like me a set of scales. So I would, if you ever do decide that you want to get one of his knives, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with the customer service. these are made in China. This is a Riot knife. Riot's the OEM. The weight on this one is 4.92 ounces, and the lock type, I don't know what you'd call this. I don't know if it's a bolster lock, subframe lock, partially exposed titanium frame lock. I don't know, but you know, I'm sure most of you guys have seen something like this before. Works very, very well. You don't have to worry about putting any pressure on the lock bar when you're maneuvering or manipulating the knife. And she is very, very smooth. She doesn't drop shut, but just a little bit of wiggly action. She comes right out, or she goes right back into her little slot there. What else can I tell you about her? Currently, these are unavailable, but like I said, if you go to vargaknives.com, he does have a pre-order set up for some more VBRs, and I'm not sure how it works exactly. You just send him a message, he'll let you know how his custom orders work. So the biggest reason that I love this knife is the compound grind. I am absolutely in love with compound grinds. I can't get enough of them. I've only got 2 or 3 knives right now that have compound grinds on them, but I will continue to buy them whenever I can find them that I can afford. I think they'll always be my favorite kind of blade grind. I love the generous forward finger choil, and it just kind of, I mean, this thing melts into your hand. It's like an extension of your hand. It feels like it was, you know, built to be there, specifically for your particular hand. There's only one thing I really don't like a lot about this knife, and that is the fact that it's just too standard. I'm sorry. You know, you've got the one screw that goes into the pivot here, and then there's another screw on the other side with a Torx head on it. But that's the actual pivot. And sometimes it doesn't have a D-shaped hole in it, I don't believe. So when you turn the screws, sometimes this will turn with it. I might be thinking of a different knife. I haven't taken this apart in quite a while, so maybe I'm thinking of a different one. But I think this is the one that is built like that. When you're taking this apart, you just take out these 2 screws here. That'll get the G10 off of there. These are T8 screws. Unfortunately, underneath those are T6 screws. There's 2 on this side, and I believe there's 1 on this side. And then that will get the scales off. Rest of the knife comes apart. I do currently have, excuse me, I do have taco bearings in here currently. I don't see that they're making a huge difference with the knife. It originally came on bearings, but I think they were just regular ceramic bearings. I don't think I've done any other changes with this guy, but this is a very good knife to have. If you guys choose to contact him on his website, I think you'll be very, very pleased with what he sends you. I think that's everything that I have for right now. I'm sorry, this one, this knife retails for $325, if you can believe that. I was really surprised by the price on this one when I heard it. Very, very affordable knife for the quality. But anyway, like I said, I think that's it for tonight. I don't think I have anything else for you. I appreciate you guys stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know, drop a like, subscribe, spread the word. I'm trying to build the channel as much as I can, so hopefully we can get it off the ground as soon as possible. Thanks again, guys. Hope you have a good evening. Bye.